Well, I've done a few of these now, and after listening to myself speaking, after and finding out at least some bad habits that I've picked up over the years, uh, namely, that would be lots of eh, uh, just pauses, uh, and another one would be um, adding quite a lot of ends in between my sentences. Um, that's probably connected to the fact that I'm not using any notes, no script, as I've said, and that I am really not used to um, just talking out loud in English. I'm used to think in English, write in English, uh, read in English, but the actual conversation, that's not something that I've actually engaged in a long time, and especially not mm, a conversation that, or um, talk that has some actual meaning. Because I've played MMOs, we've talked in English obviously, uh, but those were just short sentences, nothing actually constructed, no properly developed sentences, mostly just reactions or um, short orders or something like that, or just straight up banter, uh, talks with friends, and that also changes the way I approach the conversation, obviously, because um, I talk in a different way to someone I've known for a longer period of time compared to a random stranger. When I at least attempt to use proper structure whenever I talk to someone in my native language, be it my family, my friends. Um, I also try to use proper literary language, uh, which is a big difference in my native language. There is also a difference between addressing someone you know already and someone you just met. So I do my best to do that in my language. So I think I should work on doing that in English as well, because um, swearing and cutting sentences short, um, using words that are either misplaced or uh, straight up wrong just creates a kind of image that I don't want to display to the person I am interacting with. So I'll definitely do my best to work on those two main problems that I have noticed, and I'll need to continue um, improving my pronunciation and my vocabulary. Uh, as I've mentioned, I started writing, which um, forced me to improve my spelling, which isn't nearly as good as I thought it might be, and obviously my grammar. Um, Tenses are a big part of that I need to work on. There is obviously the option to edit everything I mess up out, but that's not the reason why I created the channel or began making these videos. I can't edit anything out when I'm in real life, offline, interacting with actual humans. So I need to get used to that. That being the case, um, there are some more prehistoric bits and pieces about the way I approached my characters in, well, most RPGs or anywhere where it's possible to customize your equipment. Uh, and that was my childish uh, admiration towards dual wielding, which is quite supported by Dungeons and Dragons rule books. So pretty much every single melee character that I've ever made in Neverwinter was some sort of a combination of a fighter with something else, and obviously had all the traits connected with dual wielding. I just felt it was somewhat cool back in the old days. And another part of that was pretty much refusing to create any of the more uh, abnormal races like halflings, half-orcs. That just wasn't something for me in terms of aesthetics. On the other hand, humans were boring by my standards, so usually I just ended up with a half elf or an elf, both for their longevity and the heavy impact Lord of the Rings had on me that just formed a sort of an image of that in my mind, and I felt like they were the coolest, and I still think so. So those were usually main characters. Now we finally managed to beat the first chapter, Neverwinter, and we are in the next one after Fentic, Lady Aribeth's lover, and someone who was very close to Dester. He was to ease the public outrage. He was hanged, and that set in motion some rather unfortunate events. It planted a seed of doubt to Lady Aribeth. So she is still the commander. She is on the hunt for the cultists. We found another place where they might be active. The cultists that created the plague that endangered Neverwinter was called Failing Death Plague. I think I've mentioned that before. And we are also joined by a spy of the Lord of Neverwinter. His name is Lord Nesher. The name of the spy is Aringant. I still remember that name. I remember so many things that I should not. But our main mission is to find any sort of traces of the cult. We are beginning our chapter 2 adventure in a mercenary barracks in a city called Port Last, and again there are, as always, in the main hub quite a few side quests. It's a hunt for escaped prisoners, that one I still remember, Then there is a priest of Tyr that wants us to find some people that tried to hunt a werewolf, some children, and in a night. Then there are some other quests like searching for some gemstones so that an elf can return to his homeland, and there are some books we need to find. There are some houses we can um, scour for resources and loot always, and then we are on our way to the first um, part of this journey. It's not exactly um, divided into districts as the first chapter was. There are a bit more complicated pathways towards our uh, progress. One of them is uh, towards some archaeologists who are attempting to uncover the secrets of the creator's ruins. Fortunately, some pesky trolls are disrupting these plans. You dispatch the trolls, proceed through the creator ruins, and find complete history of said ruins. And then you continue towards a druid's encampment. You are tasked to save some druids and find some uh, problematic uh, prisoners escaped, as I mentioned. That's the quest that you got in the main hub, and you are also supposed to uh, find out what's the problem with the spirit of the wood, who's a supposed guardian of this very deep forest. On your way there, you need to deal with some charming nymphs. Um, you need to really go through her lair that is full of charmed men. And then there is a sorceress who needs a mirror that shows her as a beautiful lady. She unfortunately lost that mirror. She's a little bit crazy, but as long as you deliver the mirror, you are fine. You'll get your items that you need to progress, and you need to beat up the spirit a little bit so that it wakes up, find out that it was poisoned, and again, the cults all around here. It's obviously their work, so you create an antidote, save the spirit. You help the missing druids that were somewhere captured by the sorcerers. The other one by the name, the last one genuinely can't remember, and that's the druid section. I think I'll be able to finish this chapter, the next one. So yeah, I genuinely feel like replaying Neverwinter again by talking about it this much, and it surprises me how happy it makes me. So I've already replayed it billions of times, so I'll probably do another playthrough as well. So in the next one, we'll look into the vines and we'll see how it goes. So that's about it for this one. I'll maybe upload another one by Sunday. We'll see.